this video is for everyone who feels alone, feels like they're trapped in the darkness, like they're trapped in this dark night of the soul that they can never escape. That's who this video is for. And if you're new here, my name is Eli. Welcome back to Universal Crystals. And I know I'm about to get deep in this video, like probably deeper. I don't know. We'll see what I leave when I edit it. But I'm really inspired to talk about something without like exposing details about it that I haven't really shared on this channel. It's a big reason why I'm so passionate. And it's a big reason why I went into my initial dark night of the soul and why I had my spiritual awakening. And here recently I've been making some videos about embracing my dark side. But by that I just kind of mean like setting boundaries, embracing my competitive nature, but also looking at the shadows of betrayal that I experienced in my life. And I don't like to play the victim, especially on here, because I feel like my life is great. And I'm actually happy that these people did this. You know, that's the crazy thing, the people that betrayed me. But I also realized that I had been so forgiving, and it's almost like, now that I've raised my own standards, it's like, how did I even let that happen? You know, like how am I even allowing these people to even be in my life? And I'll probably go into more detail without too many details about the people, just out of respect for them, because I respect them, which is kind of my point. It's like I give people all this respect, and I felt like I had been betrayed. And some of you may feel like this. This is why I kind of was inspired to make this video and bring this up without like exposing anybody or anything like that, because it actually is worse for me to hold on to. But if you're going through the dark night of the soul, you might just feel like you've been betrayed and nobody really gets you or cares about you. And really that's why I only hang out with my family, because they're the only people that I can really trust, to be honest. And even at that time I was just worried that they wouldn't accept me for who I was, because they didn't know about these videos back then, and they didn't know like the detail. They still don't know like even what I'm talking about in this video. But it's just kind of things that I've had to deal with, which have made me even more isolated than I already was. And I feel like a lot of people are going through that in your own way. Like, I'm just kind of using my own circumstances as an example, because I know how terrible I felt. But the good news is there is hope, and you can use this to make you stronger. Obviously, cliche thing, right? But I want to bring up something. A lot of people feel very depressed, right? More so than me, to the point where, say, they want to get rid of themselves. That's the way I'm going to put it, because YouTube doesn't like it, but you get it. Like, get rid of themselves. Like, that's how much they hate their old identity or the betrayal they experienced, and they just feel like they don't want to be here. And so I'm just glad that when I was kind of feeling like I didn't want to be here, it wasn't as serious as that. I don't want to downplay that or make anyone worry about me. I'm not even close to that. This is a long time ago. But I'm just saying, like, if I had been to an extreme version of this, it would have felt similar to that. And I'm just saying, you have the opportunity to get rid of your old self instead of your actual self. If you get what I'm saying, like, instead of getting rid of your old, I can't use certain words because YouTube, for, you know how it is. But again, I don't want to say that I was even close to that again to anybody in my life. You don't have to worry about me. I would never do that, especially now. I would never do that. But if I kept going down the path I was on when I initially experienced some of these moments of betrayal that actually, yeah, I mean, they're objectively, it's just like, I'm not even mad at this one particular person anymore. And I feel like I just felt so guilty myself. The hardest person for me to forgive is myself, which is why I was so lenient with other people, because I was like, well, I've done this to them, which looking back on it now, it's like, well, what I did not affect you nearly the way what you did affected me. And so I just was blaming myself, which I think is a good trait in some ways. I like to take responsibility. I'm not saying to be a victim. I'm just saying this is kind of what I would do. I'd be like, well, I victimized them in some kind of way, so they can just walk all over me. They can just do this and that. And it just hurts the most when it's people that you really cared about, or like people you chose to be in your life that aren't family members that you chose growing up, even like childhood people and stuff like that have like snaked you behind your back. That is the worst. Like, that's what hurts me the most, and I had to live with that for a while, and I just kind of just kept it in, and I have kept it in still. I'm never gonna just be that type of person, because I'm not gonna like expose anything, but I'm just saying I had to live with that every day. And I know a lot of people going through the dark night of the soul may have experienced some type of betrayal, loss, even, because like when the initial thing happened, like the initial betrayal, which doesn't even have to do with this necessary situation I'm kind of vaguely pointing at, because it's not really important. My situation, the details are not that important. It's more so just knowing how it can relate to you, because you might feel like you've just been betrayed by literally everybody in your life. And then you just want to be alone for a long period of time, but that normally actually helps you. And that's what I've done. I had to figure out who I am. And, sometimes people will do things just because I don't know, that's like the only way they think they can break your spirit or something. I guess I'll put it this way. A lot of people are lucky that I have more Luke Skywalker in me than Anakin, because I'm more of a Mace Windu, a mixture of the light and dark, yin and yang, past and future, positive and negative. I'm a mixture of both. Lucky for them. And mostly a lot more Luke, just even though I could, if I wanted to, not physically attack people, because I'm a small, skinny person. I recognize that I'm not there yet in that aspect. But spiritually, I do recognize my power, and I don't use it against people. And that kind of scared me, was like knowing that I could do that. And if I wanted to be a ruthless person like I had been in the past, and I felt guilty for that, and I couldn't forgive myself for so many things. And that's where the dark night of the soul will get you, is when you still believe in your old identity. It's like you still believe that you are the person that they betrayed, or you are the person that betrayed yourself, that betrayed someone else, which that's harder to get over. The guilty feelings for me linger more than like someone else doing something to me. It's normally harder for me to forgive myself, but when I did forgive myself, looking at what they did now, I'm like, oh my God, like I was so nice to y'all, and I still am, and it kind of made me resent them, and it's like a love-hate relationship. But one person out of that, like, not even mad at you anymore, and I feel like if you're watching, you probably know that I'm not even capable of really hating you. But the other person, I need to let that go. I know that I'm just trying to keep it real, guys. I'm gonna show you my darkness on here. Like it caused a lot of anger. You were my brother, and you just snaked me behind my back, and I still been treating you like nothing even happened, and you told me face to face what you did, as if it was just okay. And I don't, that's what's crazy to me. I just don't, that one's gonna be hard for me to ever get over. I don't know, like I have forgiven it, But now looking at it again with a new perspective, I'm like, but if we're going to be straight up honest, you know, a lot of you might have some of these angry thoughts in the dark night of the soul. You got to embrace anger. You got to embrace, you know, it's okay to feel anger. Just don't, I ended up transmuting all of this and kind of turning it into this YouTube channel. And I don't just sit on here and try and talk shit about people. Like some of these people ironically have done to me behind my back or even publicly. And just looking at all of it, it's like, yeah, no wonder I keep having these crazy synchronicities. No wonder things start working out for me, because like, damn, I went through a lot and I haven't even given myself credit. So I encourage you to maybe give yourself credit, man, because it's like, you've been through a lot. If you're going through I've been through so much behind the scenes that no one would even know. And I share a lot on this channel that I'm scared to share, but it's like, most of y'all, not you watching, I'm just saying a lot of these people that are so quick to criticize, I've started to realize if they were me for even a few of these experiences, they would be so, I don't know if they would make it. But on the outside, it seems like I'm fine. So I guess that's why people feel okay to do something against me, because they don't feel bad for me because of my life situation. And, you know, I do have a good life. I'm not going to complain. I just find it interesting, the lack of respect for somebody who did a lot for these people. I don't know. Just kind of like, I didn't like that. I didn't like the way somebody told me to my face. Something that they just seem like, oh, that's okay. But I haven't forgotten. But anyways, I'm just saying, if you have some of these angry feelings, you can transmute it and turn it into something good for yourself. You can let go. And I forgave a lot of people and apologized to a lot of people. And I made a video about this a while back. And I've tried to go around and apologize to, like, over the past few years, to like everybody that I did wrong in the past. And I'm glad I did that, because actually holding on to this resentment about whatever it is for you is only bringing you down. You know, it's only bringing you more pain. You know, feeling like you hate them because they did something to you is just like ruining your own life. It's consuming you. They're living rent-free in your head. There's a quote by Muhammad Ali. I've always loved this since I was a little kid. It goes something like, I'm not going to look it up right this second, but shout out to Muhammad Ali. But I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. It's like, it's not the mountains you climb, or it's not the mountains to climb ahead that give you trouble, but it's the pebble in your shoe. It's the damn pebble in your shoe. And sometimes holding on to resentment, holding on to maybe the ideas of, you may have had your self-esteem lowered by some of the things these people did to you. It's maybe no one did anything to you, or things that you did to yourself, or just whatever. When you're in the dark night of the soul, your identity's like crumbling in some way normally, your old identity, and you're like on the verge of leaping in to the best version of yourself, but you're too afraid. And I encourage you today to just not be afraid and just go for it, because, you know, even in those dark times, you're creating something. I guess people could call this shadow work. I've been looking at those things and replaying those memories and changing them and giving them new meaning. And I've been doing that for a long time without even really calling it shadow work or anything, just kind of healing my trauma and without really intentionally doing it. And Moldavite, actually, in a way, that's one of the big reasons why I think Moldavite is real, or I know Moldavite is real, at least for me, is because every time I get a new piece that like, it'll just hit me and bring up an even deeper layer of something that is holding me back from reaching my full potential and forcing me to look at it and heal it, and then I can move on. And that's why I love Moldavite, and that's why a lot of people are scared of it, because it will bring up a lot of fears, a lot of insecurities. But I'm glad, I'm along for this ride. That's what the true spiritual journey is all about, man. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all those moments that people did things to me, and I never really got a real apology from these people, except for when I apologized to them about other things. But one person in particular, no. It can infect other areas of your life if you allow these things to. If you don't let go, you can become so isolated like me, where I have formed friendships with people since then, and then I just disconnect and I don't want to talk to them at all because I'm just afraid of betrayal again. I'm just saying, some of my best people in my life that I picked, that I even grew up with and just built a bond with, just if they can just turn on me like that, I felt like I'm so alone. And you guys might feel like that. And that's how I got into spirituality, and I realized, I'm not alone. There's a bigger purpose for me, and I started feeling things and getting signs, and it was a magical time. And I was experiencing a bit of that today. And it's hard to find new friends when you're into spirituality, and you make these videos and you don't know if people are going to accept you for who you are. And I'm not trying to play the victim again. I feel like I'm treading too close to that. But I'm just trying to explain how I felt in the past, and now I've shifted my mindset. I kept going, man. I kept going through all of it. I kept going, and I'm gonna keep going. There's no possible way I would ever quit. If we want to be completely honest, this is a bit dark, but screw it. Today, I let it go. Right? I let go of the need to make everybody happy. You're going to see a different person on here, and not in a bad, hopefully not too in a bad way. I just need to set some freaking boundaries, man, because I just let stuff slide for so long, and it manifests in my life as me just constantly getting walked over because people mistake my kindness for weakness. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to be kind. Gotta hydrate. It gets really hot in this car. I'm not sure if a lot of you realize when I make these videos I have to turn the air conditioning off in the car, and it's kind of hot, especially in summer, but right now it is. And because I would love to have the air on, but the sound is too loud, so I have to do that. So sometimes you see me get a little sweaty, me doing this with my hair. It gets hot, man. But anyways, enough of that BS. What I was going to say, the dark thing that I was going to say, is when these people did this to me, what I said to myself was, this is my mindset. I'm just being honest. I'm not saying this is good, but this is just the truth. I said, I'm going to be so exceptional that the greatest thing that these people will ever do with their life is what they did to me. I will be so great that the greatest accomplishment was sparking that passion within me that created this. I have to succeed so much that that's the greatest thing you ever did. And I'm not saying that's a good mindset. That's just how I was. This is a while ago. That's the dark side of me, I guess. But I'm not scared to admit that. But now I realize that's not even true. That would never be true. These people have done great things for other people, and I don't want to be judged on my past. So why would I want to judge them on purely their past and what they did to me? When I've grown and I've moved on and I've done things to particular people as well, So that's why, that's all. Also, I've done things to people which allows me to be so forgiving. I feel like I know that I can go to a dark place, or I was capable of that, so other people are capable of doing something that's not really them. So I'm able to forgive so easily, and I guess that's why I was so willing to forgive all these people. But I've had to learn, I need to set some boundaries with that. Because it's I need to at least maybe address it, or I don't know. But I feel like I kind of have addressed it. It's just I stay to myself all the time. And I'm okay, guys. I'm okay. This is just what I was dealing with. And I didn't really speak on this much, even in my spiritual awakening video, to that much of an extent, like just how betrayed I felt, because I don't like playing the victim again, especially not now. But I just kind of want to inspire you guys, man. But after this, is, a lot of a reason, I guess, that Kobe Bryant's death impacted me so much is because he was one of my childhood heroes, as a lot of you guys know. But it was because he was like all I had at that period of time. When this initially happened to me, he inspired me a lot, and so did Juice WRLD's music. And then back to back, they both passed away, and I felt even more alone. And as you're in the dark night of the soul, you need to let go of believing that someone did this to the old you, because the old you doesn't exist. It's time to take your power back. This is what I've been talking about, baby. It's our time. It's 2023. It's our year. You're going to use this. You're going to transmute. You're going to take this. You're going to protect yourself, and you're going to bottle it up, and you're going to send it out. I'm acting a little crazy, but I am a bit crazy. But when you guys see me shaking on here, when you see me acting wild, it's just pure freaking passion, man, because of the things that I've gone through, because of these things, and that's how I know I can help you guys, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And if you don't know already, I have one-on-one Zoom calls that I've finally started doing, and I made a video about that. That was a big fear I had to get over, because I was worried, like, oh, I can't sell anything on here because then people are gonna be mad at me. But I'm not being a baby anymore, quite frankly. It's over, and I'm not gonna be mean. I'm just saying, in a good way, guys. I think a lot of you have been with me for a while are probably happy to hear me speaking like this. Like, finally, you're just not letting yourself be held down by the opinions of others. But I had to be open on here about it, because that's what inspires other people. That's what inspires me. That's what I want to see from my favorite YouTubers. I want to see what drives you. What happened to you that was so bad that, like, you just felt like, I gotta make these videos, or maybe these people don't care as much as me. I don't know. But all I know is that I care a lot, and I've lowered the prices a lot since my last video, and that was just something I had to do. I genuinely thought that was a good price, but then I realized, no, that's not a good price. I changed it right after. But I had to just accept my mistake, and I'm admitting my mistake on here, guys. I'm genuinely, the price might be there one day, but like without doing a call or like a sales call to get someone to just sign up for, I mean, it wasn't that much. I don't want to act like it was that much, but it's way cheaper now. And I feel like it's honestly a good deal, because you could change your life because I've been through a lot, and I don't like go into detail on certain things because I don't want to play the victim on here, and I don't want to, like, say stuff about people. So if you go on a one-on-one call with me, like, I can kind of relate to you maybe deeper than you even realize on certain things, because I really have been through it, man, in certain ways, at least when it comes to the spiritual awakening stuff and dark night of the soul. Like, I've been through some shit. And a lot of people know that, and they're probably like, how is he still here? Like, how is he still going, man? And honestly, I don't even know. I don't know how I made it this far, but like, genuinely now, I feel so happy. I still feel so free. A lot of you guys could probably tell I feel better at the end of this video, just kind of talking through my own pain. Doing this, my form of shadow work is kind of sometimes making a video about things that happened to me a while back. And to these people, I do forgive you, but it's just hard for me to forget. And I've spent a long time trying to forget, and I realize maybe I won't ever forget it, but I can't let it hold me back from being the person that I was really meant to be. Seems like when I finally decided to go for what I really want to do with my life, I had a lot of obstacles start coming in, but I faced them all. I've looked them all. I've looked at all my demons right in the face, and I've said, I love you. So I love you all, and I really mean it. I love you all. Universal crystals forever.